Good morning and welcome back to a very special episode of Live at the Legislature. Joining us today for the Legislative Minority Response is the Minority Leader, Representative Gene Ward from Hawaii Kai, and Representative Bob McDermott. He is the representative from Ewa Beach and serves on the House Select Committee on COVID-19 Economic and Financial Preparedness. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Give me 5. Okay.
So yesterday was very historic in that we suspended the session for the first time. Rep. Ward, we'll start with you. Can you just run us through the process of the caucus getting informed of the events that were to come later that afternoon?
First, I want to commend the leadership for making a good decision, because if you look at the pattern of the virus, it spikes and then you isolate and then you test, and we're at the spike, so isolation is the key. And what we've done is say, hey, this is not business as usual. You can tell, I'm out of uniform. If this was a normal day, it would be a coat and a tie. If it was a normal day, it would be with the minority leader and the assistant minority leader being at our duties. But the key is that we are still in session. We're still going to do constituent services. And what we've got is basically a legislature waiting until that curve flattens and the good news will come out. I mean, China has only had like 12 cases in the last 24 hours. And that's a place with billions of people. And so I think there's good news on the horizon. What we're doing is abundance of caution, just tamping down all of the meetings that we would have with hearings and otherwise doing things at a long distance.
Rep. McDermott, do you have a reaction to yesterday?
I think the House has reacted as best they possibly could. I thank Speaker Psyche for putting this select committee together when we only had 2 cases instead of 2,000. So I think we're as far ahead of the curve or with the curve as we can be. It's all new ground to all of us. But you know, I would say to the viewers, if they have any suggestions, call our offices, because we hear things from constituents that we never thought of. We're not omnipresent. We're not the supreme being. So if someone has a constituent, has an idea how we can help undergird businesses or keep the economy rolling, or I'm seeing some fast food restaurants close, but I'm also hearing that on the mainland they're pushing, keep the drive-thrus open. So people still have jobs, but there's no intimate contact.
And yesterday, the Senate President said that this situation changes almost hourly. We have our first confirmed case of community spread, as was said in the last segment, as of yesterday. And, you know, for the folks out there who may be freaking out or, you know, rushing to Costco to get toilet paper, do you both have any?
The toilet paper.
Do you have any words of caution or of hope for the public?
Let me say to those people what they taught us in Peace Corps: tolerance of ambiguity. Knowing that there's going to be uncertainty, when you know it's uncertain, you feel a bit certain about that. Hey, this is rather unexpected. But the fact that we're going to be getting through this, we can make it through this. But when people get scared and they think, oh my God, we're closing down, it's not because we're closing down because of the size of the groups. It's because of the possibility of, and I call them the idiots who are sick, who should stay home. It's really those people who are making it where, well, we can't do anything anymore. But if people would discipline themselves, and what the good thing is coming out of this is new social distancing learning. We're learning how to behave ourselves. We're learning how to wash our hands. And as I've said in a number of places, almost 40% of men don't wash their hands when they go to the bathroom. 20-ish% for the women. Hopefully this is going to change that behavior and put hygiene at a higher level and things that are cognizant of how we spread things around, because we're a very social community, and it shows when these things spike, it's because there's too many of us in one room at the same time.
I've definitely washed my hands more than I think I ever have or recall doing.
Did you sing happy birthday, though?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Both of you have a particular interest in the economic response now with tourism going down. Rep. McDermott, can you tell us a little bit about the meeting that you had with the Economic Response Committee last week, Thursday?
Well, I think it was a great departure point for discussions. It was very fruitful to listen as policymakers, to listen to the 20 other folks on there and what their concerns are, because they all have unique perspectives. Some are visitor industry, some are nonprofits. And so across the board, you know, we forget nonprofits survive on donations, right? So the big ones are going to be okay, but the small ones, because I used to run one, are going to have a tough time. So we've got to look at everything to see what we can do as policymakers to provide opportunities and solutions to help undergird them through this tough time.
And they'll still be meeting, I believe, next week, correct?
Right, but I think it's going to be telephonically or through the internet.
Was there any consensus that came from that meeting yet?
Well, yeah, we all need to work together, put our shoulder to the grindstone, be open to ideas, and we're not magicians, but we want to provide opportunities and support for those who are hurting.
And Rep. McDermott, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Representative Ward.
we can push the pause button on this because the biggest fear that came out of that meeting, and fortunately we got a guy with an MBA who ran one of the world's most successful organizations representing the minority. So I really appreciate Representative McDermott being on that. But it's where they're going to top off unemployment funds, so people who may be laid off or temporarily feeling like, my God, how am I going to pay my rent? That's why we've given carte blanche from House leadership, Senate leadership, to the governor for these emergency proclamations to top off TDI, to top off, to even ask bankers, hey, if somebody's late on the mortgage, give them a grace period. And as I was waiting for your interview, the IRS says 90 days, you get a grace period to file your income taxes, not April 15, but beyond that. The point is that committee is going to give a lot of support, and I think it's psychological, but primarily financial, for all those who may be losing their job and those who may be feeling fearful that the economy is going to be shaken. We're going to push the pause button. We've never done that before, but the Europeans take 2, 3, 4 weeks off. I think it's a time for America that's rushing around. Just push the pause button, have a staycation at home, and just kick back and relax.
We got about a minute 15 left. Rep. McDermott, Hawaii has a lot of kupuna or elderly, a lot of multi-generational homes. Did you have any recommendations?
Thanks for asking me
folks?
about that. That's one of the ideas that comes from a constituent. Guy calls me, he says, look, I run adult daycare for seniors, which is different than a care home. This is where they get up, they get on the handy van, they go to the center, they mix with other seniors, they play the ukulele, they have a meal, then they come home in the afternoon. Research shows that prolongs life and dissuades illness. So the insurance companies pay for it. But now, 250 people, he can't open it. He's got to say no services. So we're trying to figure out a way to facilitate. That's like a little policy thing we can do that we would probably not think of unless a constituent brought it to our attention. So that's an idea for discussion, and we'll take a good look at it.
Representative Ward, 20 seconds left. Any final thoughts or comments on the response?
One thing missing in the legislative declaration yesterday was the all-clear signal from the Department of Health. We had an occasion of 10 days or 2 weeks ago that someone was suspected of the coronavirus in this building, and we've not heard there's an all-clear signal. We have people with weak immune systems. We have some people who go home to people with immune systems. If you and I or others are carriers, we need to know that, and the incubation period ends tomorrow. So if it doesn't give an all-clear signal, you and all the others in my office are going to work from home. We're not going to be in this building.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining us. To the folks at home, stay safe, wash your hands, and we will see you next time.
And kick
Aloha.
your buddies like this.
What are you doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the Legislature on Alelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.